The hopium is hitting all-time highs this cycle. Are you ready for $700,000 Bitcoin? Welcome back, everyone. The bullish week continues. And before we dive into this prediction of 700K Bitcoin this cycle, just a quick update on the Ledger co-founder being kidnapped, specifically David Larchevek. That actually turns out, that does turn out to be incorrect. And we do have a story here. The Jameson Lopp retweeted confirmation that Ledger co-founder David Balland was kidnapped and cryptocurrency ransom was demanded. He was rescued by GIGN and multiple suspects are in custody. Also, though, it appears that the kidnappers sent a severed finger along with their ransom demands. So yeah, that is some pretty crazy stuff. Talk about the $5 wrench attack, guys. Like I said yesterday, be vigilant out there. Okay, moving on from the scary news, let's talk about this bullishness. That's right, because it's not just coming from anybody, right? It's coming from Larry Fink. So you know that we got to take this seriously, even if we don't want to. Larry Fink says Bitcoin could reach 700K. The real question we want to ask is, how is that, right? How does he see Bitcoin reaching that exchange rate this cycle? I was with the Sovereign Wealth Fund during this week, and there was a conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it would be 500K, 600K, 700K for Bitcoin. It's very interesting because on one hand, he's telling us what Bitcoin could do. But on the other hand, he's saying, look, I'm not promoting this because Bitcoin is highly volatile and has been known to see pullbacks of 20 to 30%. You know what, 20 to 30%, I definitely welcome that because that's a dip we can buy. But the flip-flopping doesn't end there. Right? Because so he just told you why it would go to 700K. Then he tells you he's not promoting this. But then he also says, look, if you're afraid of your currency debasement or you're frightened of economic or political instability of your country, you can have an internationally based instrument called Bitcoin that will overcome those local fears. So don't buy it. Pay attention to it, but also buy it. And if we go back into the not so far distant past, right, like maybe 5 to 7 years ago, Larry actually had zero interest in Bitcoin, which is a very stark contrast in his current messaging where he's telling everyone he's a big believer. Now, keep in mind, BlackRock runs and owns the most successful Bitcoin ETF. So talking about incentives here, guys, like this is all of these incentives playing out, right? He's incentivized to pump his bags, right? That this is what it is. None of us are better than our incentives. So if we couple this with the newly announced, very bullish news that Cynthia Lummis is going to be the chair of the Digital Assets Subcommittee, it seems the stars are aligning for Bitcoin. We're not surprised. I'm not surprised. This is all part of the hyper-Bitcoinization process. We are getting to enjoy watching this in real time, and I am definitely here for it. Guys, in terms of do we actually see this $700,000 Bitcoin this cycle? Hey, I'm not gonna say that I would hate to see that. I definitely wouldn't. But also at the same time, the reason why I do these types of clips is just to try to keep people's hopium in check, right? Like you can see based on his comments, right? He's flip-flopped back and forth and this and that, and he's obviously very bullish about it now, But the whole point is this, right? As long as you zoom out and you realize that all of this exuberance that we're seeing from people does not necessarily translate into Bitcoin's purchasing power all of a sudden rising in an extreme way to meet these imaginary targets. Okay, there's other people talking about $1 million Bitcoin or $1.3 million Bitcoin and stuff like that. And I love it. I mean, I'm all here for it. But I take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, guys, yeah, it's good times. You gotta enjoy the bull markets because the bear markets have a totally different feel. So, guys, that's the end of the clip. Obviously, still bullish. Obviously, I'm appreciating Larry Fink's comments, and that's it for us today. I am gonna catch you next week.